All right, welcome to round number 4. Hopefully we can clean this league up a little bit, but we not had the best start. This hand looks pretty good though. This hand definitely looks like it could clean it up. Having Bolt into Remand into Moon on the play is more what we're talking about. Our hands have been a little clunky today. Island, sleight of hand. So looks like Storm. I don't want to fetch yet. With double Remand, we're basically in Remand anything territory, and these are both going to be producing islands. Are we in Remand that territory? I think yes. I don't want to be a liar when I said Remand basically anything. If my opponent isn't hitting their land drop yet, this could be quite annoying for them, so. They do have a basic island, so this Blood Moon not really doing much. But most Storm lists are fetch lists, so it could at least be mildly annoying. Probably not, though. When it does have the land, they get to shock and do that. We found another Remand, which we'd probably rather play Remand or Pestermite this turn than play Blood Moon, since that's just not going to be doing anything. So we will wait on that Blood Moon. Not remanding that, even with how many I have. I do have something better to do this turn. I like leaving up Remand this turn rather than tapping a land. But tapping a land here would be respectable, especially if we had any reason to believe our opponent was going to miss their land drop. I think it would be far better to get our Pestermite in play this turn and bolt that instead of remand it here. So we're going to get this and untap it. Alright, not great. We need to be hitting those land drops. Alright, that's better. 5th land, not so much yet, especially basic island. P and K. I mean, it certainly puts on a lot of pressure, but am I ever really going to be able to tap out for it? I think the answer is just a solid no, unfortunately. And we'll jam here. If my opponent didn't have that basic island, I'd be more interested in slamming the Blood Moon. Again, fetchless lists, you'll occasionally be able to get them with the Moon, although it would be abnormal. We'll remand it this time. There's a Kiki-Jiki. So we could easily win this game, especially if opponent just slams their guy and we draw a land that taps for red mana. Looks like they are on a fetch list, so womp womp. Did not get there. That stinks. Opt to remand. Is that better? I think so, especially because I could opt into a land and play around an opponent's remand. Although Cryptic Command works better if my opponent makes an absurd amount of mana. I guess we'll opt to, excuse me, we'll choose to leave up the Cryptic Command. Stupid opt. Forcing me to use different words that I may normally choose. The most likely thing to happen this turn, though, is for us to die in a spectacular fashion, but we'll see what happens. I've played this matchup a few times on stream this week so far, and I've actually liked it quite a bit. Opponent starts on gifts. So now we have to ask ourselves, is it more likely that my opponent has remand in their hand or a bunch of excess rituals? If they have Remand, obviously it's a lot better for me to cast Remand here. If they have a bunch of extra rituals, it's better for me to cast Cryptic Command. I think I'm gonna opt to play. Gosh, stupid opt. I think I'm gonna choose to play around Remand instead. I think a lot of players in that spot would fire off more rituals than they needed to. And the way this game's played out, it has seemed like my opponent has been a little bit ritual light with how many cantrips they had. All right, there's an additional ritual, so that resolves. This still doesn't leave them with enough mana to kill me here. Unless they have another ritual, of course. This puts them down to 2 floating. Then we can give them Manamorphose, Past in Flames. If they grab a typical pile here, looks like they're just going to go for a Grape Shot. Are we just going to die to Grape Shot, Remand, Grape Shot, Grape Shot? That would be unfortunate. Well, it didn't get remanded. Oh, okay. They just have the Past in Flames in their hand. Sure. So they had Past and Gifts and Grape Shot and an additional ritual. That's unfortunate. I guess it did not matter what I was going to do this turn. They're a Storm off, though. No, they can flash this back. Yeah, they have enough mana, exactly, to flash that back and kill us, exactly. Oh, that's a bummer. Oops, I don't want to make my opponent have to click through all of those. I do like that it has flashback multiple times, though. Yeah, that's a bummer. Not a lot I could do there. I mean, obviously we just win that game if we draw this Flooded Strand instead of this opt, but didn't happen. Okay, so we definitely want to make sure we have as many answers to empty as possible. So those include Jace, Engineered Explosives, Is It Staticaster, Anger the Gods. We want our Graveyard Hate here, and Dispels are excellent, as is Negate. Really don't like Roast. Could potentially go up on threats here. The reason I really don't like Roast, although it's important for me to kill their creatures, is that Roast, being a sorcery, doesn't kill them on the turns where they like hold them back, hold their mana reducers back, and then play it and proceed to go off. When you're holding a Roast, that feels pretty bad. Harvest Pyre, though, can still get the job done. Perhaps something I will consider. Because of how controlling we get, I've been shaving a good portion of the combo in this matchup, if not just the combo entirely. As I said, Blood Moons are going to be very bad here, especially if my opponent's on the fetch version. Electrolyze is too much of a clunker. And I actually don't love Cryptics here. They're okay. We could potentially leave them. We'll see. I don't hate Ops, but shaving cantrips is somewhere we can go here. This isn't really a matchup where it's necessary, though, so I don't necessarily love that. Burst Lightning is also potentially on the chopping block, so it's kind of about how we want to proceed from there. And then we could have some additional threats. I think Keranos, a little bit too much of a clunker. It's harder for me to like leave up any kind of interaction if it's Dispel or something of the sort. But I do want to be a little more threat dense, especially if we're shaving on the combo. So bringing something in like P&K is not a bad idea. Although largely we're going to be trying to kill my opponent with flash threats, since we'll be trying to leave up maximum interaction. As you saw there, Cryptic can be really, really bad in this match. Just that it's, you know, too clunky of a counterspell. 4 mana is too much. So we will be pretty unlikely to leave those. I think I'm going to shave it. I don't hate the Burst Lightning here. 1 Kiki-Jiki seems reasonable. My opponent's not going to be on a lot of removal, obviously. But it's not something I want to draw 2 of at any point. I'll leave the Burst Lightning and go down to a 3rd opt. And because I'm leaving the Kiki-Jiki, I think I won't bring in the 2nd P&K. And I've been undecided on this kind of swap previously. Oops, let's go ahead and submit. This Harvest Fire might be better than the Burst Lightning, undecided. I think I'd rather have the Burst Lightning since I can actually point it at my opponent, but... Alright, we'll be on the play here. Sand is fine. We don't have much interaction, but we do have early Relic into Cantrip, plus a way to put on any pressure, so I'll keep it even though it's not really exciting. See how my opponent scries here. Bottom, top. I want this to inform my land decision here. Yeah, I'm glad we did it that way. I have the Cascade Bluffs, so I don't really mind fetching like a bunch of islands here. So Remain's not very efficient interaction. It's nice to have this so that we have some protection against empty. I think I will take it because I just don't have any interaction yet, but obviously I would have much preferred like a Dispeller and a Gate in that slot. All right. Yeah, we just don't have a way to deal with that. No Bolt, no Burst Lightning. Maybe a reason, like I said, to bottom this Remand. It's just hard for me to bottom some form of interaction when I currently have none. Opponent does not attack, so we don't get to Ambush Viper them. Too bad. Probably leaving up gifts here, but I don't really feel like it's reasonable for me to not put a clock on my opponent because I want to hold up Remand, right? I need to put somewhat of a clock on and also dig for more efficient answers. So we're going to go ahead and do that. They might as well let me resolve this before gifts. It informs my op decision a little bit better, but not a terribly big deal. Gifts when I have Relic, also not as exciting as it often is, but opponent could just go for sort of value gifts pile here where they try to get a bunch of reasonable cantrips and the like. They could also get something like Noxious Survival, which could be a little awkward considering I don't have the mana to pop my Relic right now, but I think that would be quite all right. They do get Noxious Survival. So I think I want to make it look like we're scared of the empty, since I do actually have an answer for it. So I'm almost interested in like binning Wipe Away. How do we feel about this Wipe Away? I feel like that's not really going to be doing much. So I kind of want to bin the empty to try and get them to use the Noxious on it. Like bin empty Dispel. Activate this, see if they revival. Paying 2 life and then getting a card as their draw step that I actually don't care about. Alternatively, yeah, I guess that's fine. Empty. I think the Dispel is more annoying than the Wipe Away for me. They're taking the Dispel. Sure. So I gave them Wipe Away Dispel, so they're planning on wiping away my Relic then. And getting some stuff done that way. That's a good draw. Because they have wipe away, I probably want to main phase this click. Well, I guess let's attack first. And then I'm probably going to main phase click, take the wipe away shock. But we'll see what they have. Wow, their hand is loaded. They're going to be able to wipe our board easily with that grape shot. But if I don't take wipe away, what happens? If I take grape shot and don't pop my relic, they only have one ritual, actually. So I probably can't afford to take the grape shot. The question is whether or not I have to pop the relic. I mean, they can easily find another ritual. Let's say they did. They'd have 3, 5, 6, 7 mana. Still not nearly enough to wipe away Passive Flames and do something. I have to find another. So I think I just take the grape shot here. 3, 4, 5. And what if they play a land or a ritual, right? They have, so they'd have, if they have 1, they have 7. They could pass gifts with 1 floating off of a ritual. 3, 5, 6, 7, down to 4, down to 1. Which wouldn't be a kill. Yeah, I think I just take the grape shot here. Oh, I should snip this, since this does not put it in the revealed zone. All right, we'll keep access to that. Yeah, I'm going to take the grape shot. So our opponent has 2 mystery cards, Desperate Ritual, Opt, Pass and Flame, Sleight of Hand, Wipe Away. Sure. So even if they found a ritual off that and drew 1, they'll still be 1 mana short of killing us via gifts. Don't see a reason to not do this here. Pestermite is not helpful. Really need like a Dispeller or Negate or something, but Bolt's good. Let's do this first. I can even tap my opponent's red source with this Pestermite rather than leave up Remand. It's probably better. So my opponent's going to opt. So I'll let them resolve opt. Oh, they're going to wipe away instead. Sure. Obviously, we cannot respond. And then we get to bolt this. Then in their upkeep, I'm going to tap this. So they have Past in Flames, Opt, Desperate Ritual, Goblin, Electromancer, and 2 mystery cards. Yeah. Obviously, if they draw Grape Shot, this is just real bad. But they also have to have a red source. All right, there's the opt. So changes to a mystery card as well. Opponent's starting to get to us not knowing very much about their hand. Electromancer, Ritual, Pass and Flames is all we know now, and I am definitely not going to untap that Steam Vents. What do they do with their Scry? Their bottom? Well, that's good for us. Brawl. Okay. Well, I have 5 in the air plus Snap Bolt, so Looks like we were able to close this game out, but I guess we'll see if our opponent has something particularly strange. All right. A close game. So Harvest Pyre, Opt, Kiki, Keranos, P and K, and Cryptics are like the reasonable cards we have here. I guess sort of. Deceiver, Exarch. These we're just not interested in at all. And these all reasonably do things, especially the Harvest Pyre, probably the most interesting out of them. I'm pretty off the Cryptics and the Exarchs. And the Keranos. Let's shave that down a little bit to a little bit more of a digestible selection of cards that we could potentially play if we felt they were better than any of these. The Remands get a lot worse here, but Remands are efficient at dealing with like Flashback Past in Flames, a 2-mana hard counterspell for those, which is nice since the spells obviously don't hit those. And they're sort of reasonable early, but on the draw, obviously they're a lot worse. I think we'll probably shave one since we can't kill their guys with them, and maybe put a Harvest Pyre in since that actually does kill their things. And more importantly, we can't remand a turn 2 like Baral or Electromancer, whereas we could potentially Harvest Pyre a turn 2 Electromancer. I guess we could Harvest Pyre a turn 2 Baral as well if we had enough fetch lands, but having access to that is probably better than remand number 4. So let's go ahead and try that. I think it's better than the Roast still. Roast, again, may be reasonable to have on the draw here, but so bad when your opponent is on the hold their guys back kind of play. I think I have to keep this, but does not have much interaction. It's pretty hard to mulligan, though, looking for a hand that has interaction with Baral and Electromancer and interaction with spells, right? Most hands are only going to have one or the other or neither. So I'll take a hand that can interact profitably with the cost reducers and then try to find ways to interact with the spells after the fact. This is also probably a hand where if our opponent doesn't do anything and we don't do anything, we're gonna Ambush Viper or Snapcaster, but we'll see. Manamorphose, sure. This is like a turn 2 empty, we just don't have the answers. Okay. So I just wanted to cycle that. I'm going to shock here in case I draw something like a Remand. Probably don't want to have too many fetch lines in my hand when I cast the Serum Vision, so it's probably better to scry this way. Harvest Pyre, I already have Bolt and Snapcaster. I don't currently have an answer to empty, so I do feel like I need to keep that on top. But again, not finding these like dispels or negates or anything like that is kind of an issue. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we could find, you know, even just a single dispel, especially with the Snapcaster Mage. We do like when our opponent uses their Shivan Reef. That's nice. Helps out our tempo plan a little bit. Opponent did miss their land drop that turn, so seems like a good idea here to go ahead and Pestermite them. Bolt our Pestermite, sure. Will not untap your Steam Vents. Let's see how they scry here. Bottom top. Burst Lightning. As much as I'd love to slam this Jace, with our opponent topping a card here, they probably would have the ability to kill us from there, so I think we have to wait, unfortunately. Could potentially snap a Serum Visions here. I don't hate that line. I think I'd rather have the Snap Bolt, though. But I might like remand this. Bolt my Snapcaster in response, sure. But it has a lot of bolts. Another Snapcaster is good. I think I'll leave Bolt Snap Bolt up. I have Burst Lightning kicked as well, obviously. Bolt Snap Bolt, Burst Lightning kicked. Does kill our opponent from here if they have nothing. Obviously that's pretty unlikely, but it is a lot of damage suddenly, right? You could surprise our opponent that way. I'm going to go for it for now. Obviously I don't know that I'm going to go for the Burst Lightning kicked. We'll see. But Bolt Snap Bolt I am going to start with. I do wish this Burst Lightning was currently another Bolt. Obviously, I don't mean in our deck list. We can't have a 5th Bolt, but in our hand, it would be a little better, right? If we didn't have to spend 5 mana. All right, well, they dispelled that anyway, so now we don't have to worry about it. Kiki-Jiki. Opponent just has a lot of interaction in this game, which is probably why they're not really doing anything productive. Do they just have a bolt too? Are they thinking about bolting this? They still have 5 cards in hand though, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just pass here. I don't feel great about our spot. But opponent's just passing again. I'm going to try to Burst Lightning kick them. Obviously, Remand or Dispel works, and our opponent's doing nothing, so I assume they have more interaction, but maybe they just have a terrible hand somehow. I don't know. Just all rituals. No action. I mean, this is lethal if they don't have anything, this Burst Lightning plus the Snap Attack, but that would require them to not have Bolt and not have Remand and not have Dispel. If they tank a long time and then Remand this, ritual in response. So they're going to go for like a Gifts pile. Another ritual. That's interesting. Why did they want more red? I understood wanting the extra blue floating here so they could like put Remand in this pile, but I wonder why they wanted to make the extra red there. They must have like a Manamorphose. Okay. So if we force them to use Noxious Revival, no, because they'd be using it on, well, it just doesn't matter. I assume they have a way to draw a card here, right? Otherwise the Noxious Revival doesn't make this pile work. So I just give them Revival, Past in Flames. We also have the Kiki attack line, or Kiki make a snap attack. Yeah, you get Revival Past in Flames. I mean, we are in my opponent's end step, so. Looks pretty good for us from here, especially with the Kiki in our hand. They Revival, I assume Dispel. Then they Manamorphose here. Yeah. And then Dispel it. But then we get to kill them with this Kiki-Jiki. All right. Excellent. I will see you in the final round in just a minute.